Some might recall the tales concerning the tribes of the inhospitable north. A land where the winters were deathly cold, and whose inhabitants worshipped their own wicked gods instead of the holy scriptures. In truth, they were nothing more than savages who needed to be civilized. It was only natural then for me to protest when my father, the emperor, said he arranged for me to marry the daughter of their ruler in order to forge an alliance. My objections were to no avail. Father was a stubborn man and had already decided on the matter. The prospect of having to live under the same roof and an axe-wielding brute was not something I looked forward to, but perhaps this was my father TM's way of reminding me that, as heir to the empire, it was my duty to put the well-being of the realm before my own wishes. If nothing else, a northerner would make for an interesting wife, though I wasn't TMT prepared for how interesting it would be. Today was the day my betrothed was to arrive at the Palace the first barbarian to ever set foot inside its stone walls. To say introductions didn't go like I expected was an understatement. It all began when I made my way to the guest room she was staying in and I heard a loud commotion coming from inside. When I opened the door, I saw a girl with red hair that fell freely onto her shoulders, a braid on the back, and a scar across her cheek. It was Sigrun, my soon-to-be wife. A group of imperial handmaidens were trying to dress her for the ceremony, but she was having none of it. I am not wearing that ridiculous garment, the barbarian yelled, her voice carrying a slight accent. I am a proud warrior and I will not be forced into a dress. Or please calm yourself, my lady. We are merely trying to make sure you look your best for the ceremony. A handmaiden pleaded. How about some jewelry? A pair of emerald earrings would really make your eyes stand out. I refuse. I will not accept trinkets unless I TMV earned them rightfully as plunder. Sigrun exclaimed whilst puffing her chest. I'm the daughter of the High Chief, and I have a reputation to uphold. The handmaiden stepped away from Sigrun and bowed at me with a curtsy when I entered the room. Sigrun has traveled from afar and is in no mood for this. I said in a calm voice. Please, leave her be and see to your other duties. I will make sure she is ready for the ceremony when the time comes. The women nodded and left the room, leaving me alone with Sigrun for the first time. You Imperials need to keep your servants on a shorter leash. Sigrun looked off to the side with her arms crossed. I apologize for their insistence. I replied, trying to make peace. I'll make sure they won't bother you again. Sigrun turned to me and said, you do that. Her green eyes met mine like an arrow into its target. She had a confident gaze that held no trace of weakness. She studied me for a moment before speaking again. So, you're the one I'm here to marry? You seem all right. That's me, I replied. Prince Aliyan, heir to the empire. Aliyan, she repeated, rolling the name around on her tongue. We shall speak more after the wedding. It's best if we're not seen together until then. She opened the door and motioned for me to exit before closing it behind me. I stood there, thinking about what had just happened. Her bluntness was disarming, to say the least. Getting accustomed to her unladylike ways would take time, but I had to admit she piqued my interest. What Sigrun lacked in manners, she made up in spirit. We didn't see each other again until the wedding itself. It was a lavish affair, with all the grandeur one would expect from the imperial court. When Sigrun entered the grand ballroom, all eyes were on her. She was wearing the traditional garb of her a wolf TM's pelt fastened by a brooch over a long tunic with an animal tooth necklace, while tribal markings covered parts of her body. It was far from proper, but I couldn't deny there wasn't a certain appeal to it. The guests in attendance comprised both imperial nobles and tribal chieftains. Everyone knew this day would mark the start of an alliance between our peoples, a union that would cement the bonds between the empire and the northern tribes for generations to come. Later that night, after swearing our nuptial vows and officially being declared husband and wife, I finally got the chance to speak with Sigrun in private. My wife, what do you say we go for a walk? I asked her. Sure, this party is too formal for my tastes anyways. Sigrun replied. I led her into the palace gardens, where it was much more intimate than the crowded ballroom. We strolled along the gravel paths with our hands intertwined. Despite being calloused from years of combat, hers was still gentle to the touch. The air was redolent with the scent of flowers and herbs. Chirping crickets filled the silence between us. The moon gave out a faint glow, making it easy to see our surroundings. We passed by a fountain where two swans were frolicking in the water, their feathers shimmering in the moonlight. The atmosphere was tranquil, and I wanted to enjoy it to the fullest. Do you like the gardens? I asked Sigrun as we walked side by side. Sigrun shrugged her shoulders and said it's better than being cooped up all day. I guess she then looked at me with an amused expression. I assume this is the part where the husband tells his wife how beautiful she is. That's usually how it goes, I chuckled. But something tells me you don't need me to compliment you. Oh, and why is that? Because your beauty shines through regardless of what I say or do, I answered with a smile. Sigrun didn't respond right away, but continued to gaze at me until she finally blushed slightly and said, "My, what a romantic. I'll let you get away with that one because I'm starting to like you." So, how's married life so far? I asked her. Sigrun laughed and replied, "Well, it hasn't been bad so far." I'm glad to hear that. I smiled. We talked a bit more about our respective backgrounds. I found out she was a chieftain's daughter and was very fond of hunting and riding horses. It turns out she'd also been pressured by her father to marry into nobility in order to seal an alliance. I never imagined myself settling down, but I suppose we have to do what's best for our people, Sigrun sighed. Indeed, I replied. Well, since we're already here, how about we do some stargazing? Sigrun suggested. Sounds good, I agreed. Sigrun pointed at a constellation and asked, "Do you see that group of stars over there? That's the Hunter's Belt." The ancient barbarians believed that whoever could hunt down the great white bear would become the greatest hunter in the world. That's how I got my scar. I turned to look at her and noticed that she had a faint scar across her right cheek. You actually tried to hunt down a bear? Of course. And I almost succeeded, too. It was a fierce beast and its fur was as white as the snow itself. So, what happened next? My horse was spooked and I ended up falling from its back, Sigrun sighed. I could tell this was a sore subject, so I didn't push further. I'm sorry to hear that. Sigrun shook her head and smiled. It's all right. Now, tell me more about you. I told her a bit about myself and my upbringing in the palace. I spoke about my training with the sword, and my interest in history and politics. She listened attentively and asked questions whenever she had them. We spent the rest of the night talking until the sun started to rise. We should probably head back now, Sigrun suggested. Very well, I said. Let's go. We made our way back to the ballroom and bid farewell for the night. It was nice spending time with you, I told her. You too, Sigrun replied. Good night, my dear. Good night, my prince. After the wedding, I didn't see Sigrun until the next day. When she walked into the throne room, everyone turned to look at her. Welcome, my child, the emperor said. I hope you enjoyed the festivities last night. It was quite an affair, Sigrun replied. And it was the perfect opportunity for me to make new allies among the nobles. Yes, that is the spirit, the emperor said with a nod. I could tell she was lying through her teeth. She looked uncomfortable and was clearly not happy with the situation. I'm sure we'll make a fine pair, I told her. Once we get used to each other, that is. Yeah, I'm sure we will, Sigrun responded dismissively. The emperor and Sigrun continued their discussion, but I was no longer paying attention. I couldn't help but feel bad for her. She was being forced to live in a foreign land, surrounded by strangers who didn't understand her ways. After the ceremony, I took Sigrun on a tour of the palace. We passed by many lavishly decorated rooms and halls. I explained what each one was used for and their importance within the empire. And this is the library, I said, as we entered the massive chamber. Sigrun looked around the room and whistled. This is quite a collection. Yes, it's taken generations to build, I replied. There are records going back thousands of years. Interesting, Sigrun mused. I would have expected more swords and spears, but I guess you Imperials like to read. I chuckled. We don't have many battles to fight nowadays. That's too bad, Sigrun sighed. Fighting is the best thing about life. It's certainly not the worst. Sigrun smiled and punched me lightly on the shoulder. That's the spirit. As we continued walking, we came across a small pond. The water was clear and reflected the sunlight perfectly. What's this? Sigrun asked. That's a koi pond. The fish in there are known for their beauty. Oh, cool, Sigrun replied, looking at the fish swimming around. I bet they'd taste good too. Taste good? You mean to eat? Of course. Have you never eaten fish before? Well, yes, but not like this. They're a symbol of good luck here, not food. Sigrun said. Weird. I looked at her and couldn't help but laugh. What's so funny? Nothing. It's just, you're very different from what I expected. Oh, well, you're a barbarian, right? That's right. And proud of it. And yet, you're also very beautiful, and graceful. And, well, not exactly what I expected from a barbarian. Oh, thank you. Sigrun blushed. And I must admit, you're not exactly the spoiled princeling I expected either. You've actually got some spirit. Maybe you're not as bad as I thought. Well, that's a relief, I said. Because if you'd decided to run me through with that axe of yours, I doubt I could have stopped you. Don't worry, I'm not here to hurt anyone, Sigrun replied. I'm here to build bridges, not burn them. That's good to hear, I said. Now, if only the nobles could see it that way. Sigrun laughed and shook her head. Those stuffed shirts would rather die than make peace with the enemy. But I don't care about them. I care about you. Her words caught me off guard. You do? Of course. You're my husband now. If anything, you're the most important person in the world to me. And I'm not going to let anyone take that away from me. I see, I said. Well, I suppose I should return the sentiment. You're the most important person in the world to me too. So please don't ever forget that. I won't, Sigrun replied. I promise. She smiled and took my hand in hers. Come on, she said. Let's go for a walk. We strolled through the gardens and talked about our lives. I was born in the northern wastes, but my father was a great warrior. He taught me everything he knew about fighting. I'm a skilled warrior, but I prefer riding horses. When I was younger, I used to go on raids with the other younglings. It was a lot of fun, but also dangerous. One day I got separated from the group and was chased by a pack of wolves. My horse was tired and couldn't outrun them, so I had no choice but to fight. Luckily, I managed to kill them all. Wow, that must have been terrifying, I said. Nah, it was nothing. I've fought worse. How did you end up in the Empire? Well, when I grew older, my father decided that it was time for me to marry. He was the chief of our tribe, so he had to make a good match. Unfortunately, none of the tribes in the area wanted anything to do with us. So, my father offered to give me to the Empire as a bride. In return, the Emperor promised to leave our lands alone and help us fight the other tribes. That was how the alliance between us was formed. You mean, the alliance that you and I are part of? That's right. I was sent here as a gesture of goodwill. A way to show that the Empire and the northern tribes could work together. So, if things work out between us, there's a chance this could lead to peace between our people. Maybe. But it's not going to be easy. No, it won't. The nobles and the people of the Empire don't trust you or your people. I'm aware. And that's why we need to make this work. If we can prove that our marriage is a success, then maybe the Empire and the tribes can finally be friends. That's a lot to ask, especially considering how different we are. Yeah, but you're not as bad as I thought, Sigrun shrugged. Oh, thank you. Hey, can I ask you something? Sure, what is it? When we were introduced earlier today, why did you say it's nice to meet you? I did. Huh, I didn't even notice. You did. And it's kind of weird because I'm pretty sure you were trying to insult me. Insult you? How could saying it's nice to meet you be an insult? Well, where I'm from, we always introduce ourselves with a challenge. Like I'm Sigrun and I'm gonna kick your ass or something like that. Oh, I see. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. Where I'm from, we always greet each other with a handshake. I understand. Well, we're from different worlds, so it makes sense that our customs would be different. Still, you could have tried to be nicer about it. Sorry. It wasn't my intention to insult you. It's okay. I just want us to be friends, you know. And we're not going to achieve that if we keep saying things that piss each other off. I agree. And I'm willing to try if you are. Deal. So, where do we go from here? Well, I think we should spend more time together. Get to know each other. Maybe go riding or something. I'd like that. And it would give us a chance to talk more. That's true. Although I'll warn you, I can't stand those stupid dresses your people wear. You mean the ones the servants were trying to put you in earlier? You so they get married, not in love yet, but optimistic about future. Ali and find her beautiful, courageous and cute. Who looks like it is sign of falling in love. Yeah. I hate those things. They're too constricting. They're not that bad. I think they're kind of pretty. If you say so. But if I have to wear one, then you have to wear some of our traditional clothing. Deal. So, what should we do now? I'd like that. And it would give us a chance to talk more. I'm sure you're not. Although the stories about you and your people aren't exactly reassuring. They're probably exaggerated. Or just plain wrong. We'll see. Anyway, enough about that. Let's talk about something else. Like what? Anything. What do you like to do? Me? I don't know. I like to ride horses and go on adventures. Adventures, huh? Do you mean the sort where you find treasure and fight monsters? Yeah, that kind. Although I prefer the fighting. So, what about the treasure? Don't you like that part too? Sure, but it's not as much fun as killing things. And sometimes it can be a bit boring. Boring? How so? Well, you have to search for it, don't you? That's the hard part. Once you've found it, it's not that exciting. I suppose that's true. Although I wouldn't say the same thing about jewels. Why not? Because they're pretty and they sparkle in the light. That's what makes them so appealing. True. I never thought of it that way. Anyway, what do you like to do? Besides riding horses and going on adventures? I like learning new things. Like about history or science or anything really. That sounds pretty interesting. Is that what you did back home? Yeah. It's not exactly a common pastime among the tribes, but my father supported my interest in it. He said that knowledge is power and that's something every chieftain needs. Wise man, indeed. He was also a great warrior and a leader. The tribes look up to him. I guess they're looking up to me now too. He is a great man. And a good father. He must have been proud of you. Yeah, I think so. Although he didn't seem very happy when he found out about this marriage. I'm sure he just wants what's best for you. Yeah, well, I'm not sure this is it. He didn't even try to argue with the emperor. It's like he accepted the situation without putting up a fight. Sometimes it's better not to fight. Especially when there's no chance of winning. Maybe. But I'd rather die than give in. That's a bit extreme, don't you think? Not at all. If the price of my freedom is death, then so be it. At least then, I'll be free. I can't believe you'd say that. Why not? Because it's a noble sentiment. No. Because it's foolish. Death is a final destination. Once you're dead, there's no coming back. And if there's one thing I know, it's that life is too precious to throw away. So what's the alternative? Live my life as someone else's pawn, a slave to the whims of the imperial court? I'd rather die than endure such a fate. You don't know that. You haven't lived it yet. And neither have you. True. But I know that if I died today, I'd be satisfied with how I lived. Would you say the same? I thought so. Now, how about we try to make the best of this situation? Fine. But don't expect me to play the dutiful wife. That's not my style. I wouldn't dream of it. Just try to be civil. We're supposed to be a team now. Yeah, I get it. Good. So, what do you want to do? He looked at her for a moment waiting for answer. Deep down he was not unhappy with marriage after meeting her. Before meeting her he was scared of what type of girl she might be and what will happen in future. but now he felt a flutter in his heart and anticipation. "Let's go riding. It's been a while since I've been on a horse." "All right, let's go," I said. I led her to the stables, where a few horses were kept. "Which one would you like?" "The black one." "Good choice. She's a fierce one." I helped her saddle the horse and watched as she rode away. "Be careful." She waved goodbye and disappeared into the distance. After our conversation, I went back to my chambers. I sat at my desk and thought about what Sigrun had said. I couldn't imagine her dying. She was too strong-willed for that. Ali and a servant called out, "Your father wishes to speak with you." "Thank you. Please, show him in." The servant bowed and left the room. A moment later, the emperor entered. "My son, are you enjoying your time with the barbarian?" "Yes, father. She is a fierce warrior and quite entertaining." "I'm glad. I hope you will be able to tame her spirit and make her a suitable wife for you." "Father, if I may be honest, I am not sure I wish to tame her spirit. She is an intriguing woman and I find myself attracted to her. However, if it is the will of the empire, I will do my duty and be the husband she deserves. It is a pity that your brother was not born first. He would have made a better ruler than you. His wife would have been a true ally, not an outsider. However, there is nothing we can do now. Your marriage will cement the alliance between our two nations and ensure peace for generations to come. I trust you will not disappoint me." "Of course, father. I will not let you down." "Good. Now, if you will excuse me, I have important matters to attend to. Be sure to spend time with the barbarian. You must learn to love her and she you if this marriage is to succeed." "Yes, father. I will do my best." I bowed my head as the emperor left. After the emperor left the room, the servant entered and informed Aliyan of the upcoming feast in his and his bride's honor. Yuhi overhears a servant talking about the bride's honor feast. This makes him unexpectedly happy. He feels a flutter in his chest like butterflies and realizes how deeply he's beginning to feel for her. He finds her beautiful. He wants to be near her, to hold her, but he holds back. Let the scene reflect his quiet emotional shift. "I see," Aliyan said, as the servant left the room. "I will make sure to attend." Aliyan thought about his new wife. He hadn't expected to like her so much. She was different from anyone he'd ever met. She had a spirit that wouldn't be tamed, and it made him want to get closer to her. But he knew he couldn't, not yet. They barely knew each other. But perhaps, in time, they could learn to love one another. Sigrun was a chieftain's daughter, which meant that her father would have been a powerful man. Her people were the descendants of the ancient tribes who had ruled these lands long before the empire. They had a fierce reputation, and it was said that their warriors could cut through an army like butter. I wondered what she was thinking about. Was she also considering the possibilities between us? Or was she simply enjoying the view? She had a strong jawline, and her eyes were bright and green. Her skin was pale, and her hair was a fiery red. She was a striking figure, and I couldn't help but admire her. "It's nice here," Sigrun said, breaking the silence. "Yes, the palace gardens are beautiful," I replied, "although the rest of the palace is quite boring." "Really? I think it's interesting." "How so?" "Well, the architecture, the history. There's a lot to learn here." "I suppose so. But not everything is learned by books, is it?" "What do you mean? You're the prince, right? I'm sure you've been educated in the ways of the world." "Well, yes. So, you have more experience than me." "More life experience." "I guess so." "Then why are you afraid to tell me how you feel?" "I'm not afraid." "Then, why haven't you told me yet?" "Told you what?" "You know what." "No, I don't." "You're afraid. You're afraid of losing me." "I'm not." "Yes, you are. It's written all over your face." "I don't understand." "You're afraid that if you tell me how you feel, I'll reject you. You're afraid that you won't be able to control your emotions and you'll ruin everything." "No, I'm not. I'm fine." "You're not fine. You're scared." "I'm not scared." "Yes, you are." "No, I'm not." "Yes, you are." "Fine, maybe I am. See, you're not so brave after all." "Hey, I'm still a warrior. And I'm not afraid of anything." "Oh yeah? Then prove it." I'm not going to fight you. Why not? Because we're married. So, that doesn't mean anything. It's just a piece of paper. Maybe, but it's a big deal to me. I take my vow seriously, even the vow to obey me, especially that one. Good. Then you won't mind if I ask you to do something for me. What is it? Kiss me. Excuse me. You heard me. Kiss me. Are you sure? Yes. Don't you want to? Well, yes. But I thought you would be against it. Why would I be against it? We're married. And I think you're attractive. I wouldn't mind getting closer to you. You find me attractive. Of course. Have you looked in a mirror recently? Well, no. But I know what I look like. Then you know how handsome you are. And your personality is even better. You're not arrogant or selfish. You're a good person. And that's rare, especially among royalty. I don't know what to say. Say yes. Say you'll kiss me. I can't. Why not? Are you afraid? No, I'm not afraid. It's just, we're not supposed to be together. Our union was only meant to bring peace. That's what our parents wanted. But it's not what I want. And I don't think it's what you want either. But, we're married. We have a duty to fulfill. So, who says we can't find happiness too? I don't know, this is all so sudden. I know. But we can make it work. All we need is a little faith. I'm not sure. Trust me. I have a feeling about us. A good one. All right, then. Let's do it. Great. Now come closer. Sigrun stepped towards me, closing the gap between us. She was so close that I could feel the warmth of her body. I've never done this before, she whispered. But I want to. I've never done it either, I confessed. But I'm ready. Then, let's do it. We kissed. Her lips were soft and warm. I felt a tingle run through my body. I held her close, savoring the moment. When we parted, we looked into each other's eyes. There was a spark between us. Something special. That was amazing, I breathed. It was, she agreed. I never thought I'd fall in love so quickly. Me neither. But I'm glad we did. So am I. We stood there holding each other. The air was cool, but we were warm. Do you think we can make this work? I asked her. I don't know, but we have to try. Then, let's try. Dash 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 dash. You bride honor dinner party. The emperor had arranged a feast in honor of the bride's first night in the palace. The guests were mostly high-ranking nobles and officials from the imperial court. Sigrun and I were seated at the head of the table, along with the emperor and his advisors. Thank you all for coming tonight, the emperor began. We are gathered here to celebrate the union between the empire and the northern tribes. This alliance is a historic event, and we hope that it will bring peace and prosperity to our people. Here, the crowd cheered. The emperor smiled and raised his glass. To peace and prosperity, he proclaimed. The guests echoed his toast and drank. Now, please enjoy the feast, the emperor said. And let us welcome our new empress, Sigrun the barbarian. The crowd applauded and cheered as Sigrun and I rose from our seats. Thank you, she said. This is an honor. But please don't call me the barbarian. I'm just Sigrun, an ordinary girl from the north. Of course, your majesty, the emperor replied. Please call me Sigrun. We're family now, after all. As you wish, Sigrun. Sigrun and I sat down, and the feast began. There was roasted meat and fish, fruits and vegetables, wine and ale. It was a lavish affair, and the guests seemed to enjoy themselves. I noticed that Sigrun was not eating much. Is everything all right? I asked her. Not really, she replied. I'm not used to this type of food. It's very rich and heavy. I see. I can ask the cooks to make something lighter if you like. No, it's okay. I'll manage. Are you sure? Yes. We ate in silence for a while. So, how do you like the palace? I asked her. It's big, she replied. I don't think I'll ever get used to it. It is a bit overwhelming, isn't it? Yeah. I'm more used to the open skies and the fresh air. I can understand that. The empire is very different from the north. How about you? How are you adjusting to the marriage? Well, it's been an interesting experience, I replied. But I think we can make it work. Really? You don't sound very enthusiastic. It's not that. It's just, I never expected to marry a barbarian. What did you expect? I don't know. Someone more like me. Someone who understands how things work around here. Do you think I don't understand? Just because I'm not from the empire doesn't mean I'm stupid. No, that's not what I meant. It's just, you're very different from the other women I've met. Different in a good way or a bad way. Both, I guess. And which way do you prefer? I'm not sure. Well, that's not very helpful. Sorry. You know, this marriage doesn't have to be a burden for either of us. What do you mean? We can make it work. We can be happy. Do you really think so? Of course. And not just because we're married. Because we care about each other. I don't know. It's all happening so fast. So what? Love isn't supposed to be easy. I suppose not. Look, we don't have to rush into anything. We can take things slow. We have our whole lives ahead of us. That's true. So, let's start by getting to know each other. We're already married, so there's no reason to be shy. Maybe you're right. I'm always right. Really? What about that time when you said that the sky was falling and we needed to hide under the bed? I was right. The sky did fall. Right onto your head. Yeah, you were still wrong. You holding hands. Come on, let's go, Aliyan said, grabbing his wife's hand. Where are we going? Sigrun asked. Anywhere. Everywhere. Let's go exploring. Sigrun grinned and pulled her husband along. Okay, let's do it. Let's go crazy. Aliyan and Sigrun ran through the palace, holding hands and laughing. They didn't care who saw them. They were young and in love. As the story ends, we see the couple sitting together, their hands intertwined. You know, you're not what I expected, Sigrun says. What did you expect? Aliyan asks. I don't know, but not this. Not someone who cares about me. Someone who's willing to fight for me. Well, I'm glad I surprised you. Me too.